So let's see. My connection might be a little bit suspect. Okay. So we see Ozil and Veers go down into Blizzard 1. It's a pretty safe play. It's going to be really hard to battle into, especially this early when kryptofis doesn't even have his Octo sights out and Luke out, so it's a pretty good play.
So for crypto this turn, I think you have to just set up, right, with Luke and getting your sights out, and you can't really afford to delay that. Did I have that right?
Yeah. You know, the nice thing about Legend is what I found is you can take two-ish, three-ish turns of damage to set up, because between Ray and Leia and Rose, you just retrieve so much. And you know, you'll get solo in space, so it might even be nice to have a key interrupt and lost pile. So it's Legend doesn't really sweat losing like 5 to 7 force early. It's when it's compounding and you aren't putting much damage through yourself that it can get pretty dicey. So this is a really great start though for Gavin, because the third marker's going to be hard to contest right off the bat. Okay, so Gavin gets some shields out. And I imagine... So Oh, okay, so this is interesting, actually. I just realized... I didn't notice this until now. Zemowit is doing a... heading for the medical frigate start. He's not playing the new epic event, Be With Me. So that allowed him to get out Walkling, Brave Resistance, and Menace Fades right off the bat. So instead of having to dig for Menace Fades, which is something you definitely want in this matchup, he gets to start it. So that's a really good thing for him. So I guess that means we definitely aren't seeing Jedi Ray. I imagine EPP Ray is probably his choice, but we'll see there. I mean, he still could be playing Jedi Ray, just for the saber and retrieval mechanics in her game text, but she's just so much better with the epic event out, so it would be a little surprising to see her, but not totally. But yeah, that's a cool start that you don't see much anymore now that the epic event's here.
Yeah, and I don't have a lot of experience with Legend, but if memory serves, without the epic event, he'd have to wait until Luke is out of play before he could play Jedi Ray. Is that right?
That is correct, yes. Because the epic event lets her circumvent that stipulation. So that's a good point. You could still do it, it's just really limiting your options until you flip. And, you know, I've seen Legend played extremely well between like Bastion and Desai, where they don't flip for a really long time, and they're fine with that. So, you know, I think that would be pretty surprising if we saw Jedi Ray, since that epic event isn't out.
Yeah, in particular with Desai, and I don't know that I've seen Bastion play it, but it seems like he sets up for a key battle, and kind of the first 5-6 turns is really just getting all his pieces in a row, so that one battle goes exactly the way he wants it to.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Crypto will try to do something similar if he can. I know that Walker's puts out a lot of early damage, like you mentioned.
Yeah, and so Gavin's probably just like, you know, he's probably fine just letting him set up at his interior sight. And so, you know, when I was playing this matchup, I didn't even put out the interior sight, which also was a terrible mistake, because then it just kind of killed my activation a little bit. So just I'm already Zemowit's playing this a lot better than I was. So let's see how it goes. So we got a Force Drain, which makes sense. Well, actually, Yeah, the shield is out, so he's paying to drain. Here, I'm gonna see if I can help with the chat. I heard Saiter saying it was a little iffy, so okay, so let's see what Gavin's doing. So Zimowit lost Fly Casual, so that means he's playing Tantive. He lost a Dodge, which is probably a pretty good interrupt to have in this matchup if he just wants to like sit in front of the walkers and block some damage. What else did he lose? He lost
Leia's Transport.
Oh yeah, yep. Okay, so was that from hand? It wasn't. So everything was... So Fly Casual was from hand. Dodge was from reserve deck, and the Transport was from reserve deck. So, yeah. I wonder if he has Tantive in hand or what. But I will say this: I you know, as much as I believe. As much as, you know, Legend can, like, you know, withstand early damage, you have to be really careful with the cards that you lose. So top decking can be super dangerous, and there are a lot of painful decisions early on if you are facing early damage with what to lose.
So this deploy from Gavin seems a little bit aggressive to me, especially with only 4 cards in hand and Light activating 13. This seems like Crypto could make him pay here.
So, wait a sec. So okay. Yeah. He's definitely just trying to just pile on the damage, force a battle that maybe kryptofis isn't ready to have yet. But right now, Blizzard 4 with Kurgi on it is super enticing. That is very clearable, and if it gets you a foothold at that marker site, that's a pretty nice board development. But again, I think if I was going to play this based off of the lessons I learned from losing to this very matchup, I'd say I'd probably want to get set up at Jakku and the interior site and at least be satisfying all of the shields like Battle Plan, Coward Shield and, Battle Plan, all that stuff, so that then you can really just start, disrupting, tinkering with their like setups, things like that. So I just tried to lower my bandwidth settings, so hopefully that, I don't know, helps improve things. Yeah, I apologize for any streaming issues. This is one of my first time streaming, and I don't really know what I'm doing. But as long as you can hear us and visually things are like decent, then hopefully that at least gives a sense for what's going on. So let's see. Let's see what Zimut's doing. He puts down Akbar with a Brave Resistance and gets back Poe. Interesting. So when I play this, I basically want to go as light as possible in space. Putting down, the Falcon is the obvious play, and Solo is great there, obviously. And I honestly like having Akbar as the second pilot, because then you get your 2 resistance characters. You're you're free of a lot of like NP space stuff, and then you can start like throwing some of the other pilots around elsewhere. But I mean, Poe is really best in space in this matchup, unless he's running the random speeder, which would be interesting. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
It would seem weird to me to be running a speeder for Legend without an exterior sight. It would be a pretty bold call, I think.
It would. I can only see it because if you expect walkers, which is a fair assumption, or ROPS too, would be pretty sweet. Interesting. So we get Maz. We get Maz coming out. So I will say this: I've played kryptofis, a dozen or so times on GEMP, and I never know what to expect. There's always an interesting wrinkle to what he brings to the table. So this is just the first example. Maz is an interesting inclusion because she's not a resistance character, which is annoying. There aren't a ton of aliens for her to pull, and so that those make her a little bit of a put a just a little friction in the deck. But she is a female character, which works well with the female interrupt, and you're reducing destiny. Total battle destiny is really good, obviously, and yeah, I don't know, it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, and you would think that Crypto's running the female interrupt, so he's got some protection from weapons. Even if he can't flip his objective with the resistance character, he probably has something to help if he comes after her.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. And so what I like here is, interesting. OG Ray. Very nice. What I like here is that he knows he's not going to have force strain bonuses, so he doesn't really care about getting the Falcon to Jakku. This is definitely a much more efficient play because now we can put Poe down with Rey and use the female interrupt there. Although that's the effect, the force strain bonus there is actually canceled from Imperial Decree, so that's off the table. But it does put 2 resistance characters there. He's satisfying both theaters and kind of saying go to
okay, I like this now with Rose. Now you can flip at either site or either location. You get your retrieval. Things are looking a little bit better now.
Yeah, I imagine with 5 cards in hand, I would guess he has at least 1 EPP. So maybe what he wants to do, that being Gavin, yeah, I don't know. It kind of depends. This is definitely good. This is a good setup, though. I'm liking it.
Something earlier this turn that I thought was interesting is Crypto used Unita to get the resistance transport off his lost pile, and Gavin had an extra shield pull because of Luke's hut. Opted not to play Imperial Detention to make Rey cost 2 force. It's hard to know kind of how shields come into play. I don't know what other shields he's going to need in this matchup. Maybe Ultimatum.
Yeah. Ultimatum, probably not. Right? Because he's not going to get a drain of 3 in anywhere. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Ultimatum is not resistance. Ultimatum is the light side resistance, right?
Whatever the dark side one is, I guess. I don't know which one is which either.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, though. Yeah, I mean, I always debate it. Like, is it worth pulling a shield for one instance of a deploy, making them deploy 2, or spend 2 extra force to deploy a character? I usually say no, but in this case, if it made it so that it was much harder to do what Zimowit did here, then maybe it is. It's hard to say. He's getting the sense. I mean, he's getting oppressive enforcement out to protect Image of the Dark Lord when it comes down to the antechamber, because he doesn't want that to get altered, lost. Okay, so he did have an extra shield pull because of the Octo Sight that kryptofis played that lets you pull a shield, dark side pull a shield. So I mean, these shields are pretty. I can't really argue with those. You know, code clearance shield is a really good one against Legend because it prevents them from, you know, Jedi Leving, and where they retrieve so much with Rose and Leia, you really can't ever turn that off, or else Legend's just taking away one of their best advantages.
So we figured we would see from Crypto at some point you may start your landing protection. Of course, that got grabbed by Gavin. That's probably the one interrupt he does not want to see over and over and over again.
Yep, I would bet, based off of some of the lists I've seen, the Euro Legend lists I've seen, it could be worse. It's probably in here, which now gets to be cycled a little bit, unless Gavin is playing another grabber, or maybe Min to put that out of play. So let's see. Robbie's saying at least she can possibly snag Chewie with Blaster and Solo. Yes, I think that's probably a safe bet that this build is playing Chewie with Blaster, or with Bowcaster, which will definitely be a weapon at his disposal against walkers. Of course, the concern there is trample, but if he has the trample canceller, which I would imagine he might, it's a pretty good include, then maybe that can offset that. So yeah, I mean, the nice thing for kryptofis now is, you know, again, he's satisfying both theaters. He's at least getting some damage in, and he's retrieving. So with 15 force to play with each turn, that's enough to start, you know, making Gavin's life difficult. Okay, so Gavin is deploying docking bays, and he exchanged. Sorry, I'm a little behind on the game action here. So he exchanged sneak attack with the bottom card in reserve deck with the 5th marker text. So sneak attack is an interesting card to include for walkers because you can play it against ATSTs. He definitely has some Imperials of ability less than, I think, 4 is the stipulation. So yeah, there might be some stuff there. Okay, so it is now kryptofis' turn, and he is getting in 2 damage with drains, and will retrieve the dodge, I would assume. And he has 17 force to work with, which is quite a bit.
Against Blizzard 4 with Kurgi aboard and Tempest Count 6, which reacted. There was a trample from Gavin, which was grabbed and then canceled by Crypto. Leia retrieved perimeter scan V when initiated battle. Luke went out of play with the flip. Chewie hit Blizzard 4. Blizzard 4 and Kurgi went away. Crypto played Fall of the Legend V to take a card from used pile into hand. So a pretty big turn in terms of events from Crypto.
Yes, that was the battle he was looking for sure. Didn't lose a thing, and had the cancellers he needed, and now it's up to Gavin to try and reclaim that site, which is going to be hard unless he, you know, has another trample in hand or not, or what. But, because yeah, Chewie's going to rip through a lot of stuff right now.
We assume that Gavin is playing multiple tramples. I'll be curious to see how many he has.
Yeah, I would think At least two. I've played as many as three in my Walker builds just because it's so essential. Like, I don't think I've ever won a game against like, scrubby type decks. Not that Legends is a scrubby type deck, but without getting at least one trample through.
Saving of 3 force by Crypto to me signals a react by Finn here.
Yep, Finn can react, but not for free. Right, so that's what the 3 force does. Okay, so Fader with stick comes down with Tarkin. That's pretty good combo. And
Oh, even better.
it's a trap. Yep.
It's a trap.
That is good. Okay, so now
So now he can retrieve that with Rose, and yeah, lots of fun.
yeah, I wonder if he has a first aid combo to teleport over with if he wants to abandon that site, or maybe he's fine to just, I don't know, if he can find solo, he can play that from Lost and buy more time.
So to me, putting Blizzard 1 and Veers in front, but as he says, I don't think it changes anything. Probably would rather use that shuffle after Gavin recirculates, but
Right.
who knows?
So Gavin gives him the revert. Kind gesture. One I will admit, he did not give me in our game.
I have some feelings about reverts, especially some of the players in this game, and I'll keep those off stream.
Fair enough. Yes, the revert debate, it continues ever as it always does. I was this is totally off topic, but there was some talk in like Slack the other day about adding like player ratings to Gemp, which I think on its face could be interesting and fun. But can you imagine the influx of rage quits and like just behavior issues that would happen if every single game had like an impact on some rating? I was like, that would probably just create chaos.
Yeah, so I don't know if you were around when we had Hollow Table, and that was the dominant platform, but they introduced ratings there, and it caught on for a little while, and it seemed like it didn't last very long. I think there's a few people who really liked it, and then a lot of people who really did not.
Yeah, I can see both sides. So kryptofis is trying to decide what card he wants to pick up with Ray using his objective peak. And I imagine, I would predict he's just going to move everyone to the 4th marker. It's probably...
So do you need to move everyone, or could you just move one of them over? Because you do like that drain that you're getting at the non-battleground there.
That's true. Yeah, I guess if you just move Anakin and Chewie, I don't know. It's just I'm still worried about trample a little bit.
And I think maybe that's where that Bith Shuffle might come into play, where you can play it, and then at least then Gavin can't track around a 6.
So, I mean, Gavin's
going to do... This is shaping up to be a pretty narrow margin.
Yeah, Gavin's going to do 5 damage next turn, I think. Which is bad. That gives him basically... Well, he says kryptofis is 4 force in hand, so he can probably afford to lose some stuff there.
Right, and all he needs is 1 card in his life force to continue doing damage. So
yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this plays out. There's still some intrigue at play here. Oh, okay. So Gavin has is such a Gavin card. He loves that card.
I
Um,
mean, that seems fine. I mean, you're trading one for one. That takes another card away from Gavin's Life Force too.
yeah, yeah. Um, so Gavin has 17 between hand and reserve. Crypto has 7 or 8, 11. So I think he
Interesting.
interesting. I wonder if he has a dodge.
That would be helpful.
I mean, I just even if he has force projection, Fierce is gonna get to 20, close to 20 probably. Anakin will get to 11, and yeah, I guess you can probably just yeah, I guess Anakin's fine there as long as he doesn't have much backup. Anakin, it wouldn't really be a great battle um, for Gavin because Anakin will probably clear Veers and get through be able to cover battle damage. I don't know. It's a bit of a risk.
Gavin may have to put another person down with Blizzard 1 because if Anakin draws a 5, that would clear Veers and Blizzard 1, which would not be a good outcome.
Right, right. If someone else comes down, then this becomes worse, a lot worse for Crypto. But if he has a dodge in hand, then that is kind of like good for him because it forces him to commit some resources, decide if he
Yeah, exactly.
wants to take the battle or not. I don't know. What are some funny things that Crypto could be playing? Maybe uh what is that? What is that warrior card that lets you draw in a battle destiny if you're alone?
Oh, for Warrior's Courage?
Yeah, but I don't know if that means you have to have a rebel or not. If that one means you have to have a rebel.
I believe it's any warrior, or you add 2 Battle Destiny if it's Leia. If I remember correctly, someone in the chat might be able to help me out on that.
Warrior's Courage would be kind of a fun interrupt to have in Legend.
Yeah, I mean, you're already playing Leia, right? So you get 3 Battle Destiny if she's defending a battle. That's not unreasonable.
Okay, so Ryan
What?
Surson is saying that projection was in Lost Pile a ways back, so
Okay.
that is not in play. Thanks, Ryan. Oh wow. Avazin?
So interestingly, I think with Crypto losing from reserve, I would battle in both spots because you're not going to have enough cards in reserve deck for you to be worried about Leia and Chewie.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Phew. Okay, so yeah.
Well,
Anakin just
maybe
has
not now that you're using up all your own cards as well.
So yeah, Anakin's staring down a lot of damage now. So Gavin just had a lot of things to throw at him this game. Just it never was caught without an important card he needed. Gavin played this really, really well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So
I'm still not
let's
sure
say
about.
that
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
let's say that Crypto decides that he doesn't want Gavin to put any more cards down and just loses the 5 that he's got in his life force. That would be a win of 14 for Gavin, which that's a sizable margin, but definitely not insurmountable.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And I would imagine that's the right thing to do. Although I don't know if you have a choice at this point. So
Yeah, unless he happened to draw into a Hoojix.
I saw Hujix
Yeah.
go lost a second ago. So yeah.
Okay.
So well played by Gavin. 14. That's exactly the difference that we had. So, um, so let's see.
Looks like they're going right to the other side.
Okay, great. We'll just keep this going then.
Perfect.
Jump off if you need to, but I'm enjoying having you on here. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, it's been great. I know we had some hiccups, but good games and good conversation about what we're seeing.
For sure. I was trying to think that if I had any more thoughts on that game. Oh yeah, the only turning point I could see was when Gavin moved in front of Leia and Chewie. I thought that was a right moment for clearing some of Gavin's main weapons, but he didn't have the Gik or the Hujik, so he obviously knew that and needed to take care of the threat at the antechamber. So,
and it's interesting because he used his once per game tunnel vision really late, like after the beatdown occurred. Gosh, I would love to use that on a Hujix if it was in my force pile, especially if I have scrubs at a site. But hindsight's 2020.
Yes, it sure is. Especially, I mean, man, I that was such a swing that to even make this a 14-point game almost seems impressive. So we'll see what comes up next. So I would guess that Gavin's not going to pivot from what he played against me, but we'll see. Which was Diplo.
Although I played against Gavin a couple of days ago, and he had a Y for Ops deck, but it was in a public game, so I don't know that he would be playing his OCS deck publicly, but who knows? Hard to say.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting, I know we have another event coming up next year in San Diego. As a California resident, are you going to be attending that?
Yes, I will. I am so excited about it, honestly. If you've ever wanted to check out the SoCal scene, you can't do better than sunny San Diego. It's going to be beautiful and it's going to be fun, and it's in the middle of January. So, where else can you go in the world to play Star Wars cards in 78-degree weather in the middle of January? I don't think many places.
Yeah. It's basically like a bowl game for Star Wars CCG players.
Yeah.
Right? Get out of the cold weather and go to California.
That's right. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
It looks like they've started up.
Yeah.
Gavin, as you predicted, has Diplo. Crypto has Shadow Collective. So we'll kind of see. What's your take on that matchup as you hear it?
I haven't played as either deck a whole lot, but I have played as Shadow Collective versus Diplo on at least one or two occasions. One was against Brian Fred, and he just outplayed me by getting Willard, Vanden Willard out, and draining for 2 at both systems with the Alderaanian drain bonus in play from Bale Organa. So he was just basically out damaging me, and I couldn't chase him down enough to do enough damage. But Gavin's deck doesn't play Chandrila. It only plays Alderaan, and it uses the Falcon to bounce back and forth to deliver the plans and then just set up Celebration at Tatooine. So I actually think Zemowit has a pretty good, has a pretty fair chance at doing enough damage to make it close. When I was playing this matchup in the last OCS round, I was playing HDV, which I chose because I assumed I had lines for either Diplo or Y4 Ops, which I think Gavin plays sometimes, which is why I chose HDB. But I was just never able to get a big beatdown in, and so he was just able to kind of scratch along and stay within that 14-point threshold to where I was never gonna beat that. So if if Zimowit can get in a beat or two, then I think this is a wide open match. But if Gavin is able to kind of tank a little bit and get his retrieval engine going, it might be hard. So we'll see.
So historically, we think of Diplo as having like lots of scrubs, which seemingly would be good targets for Shadow Collective to hit and cause some ping damage. But I know that Gavin also plays a lot of evasion cards. It seems like it's a trap, dodge,
Yep.
sometimes even like narrow escape and stuff we don't see as often. So if he's got those, which you think he probably does, it'll be interesting to see how many successful battles Crypto is actually able to initiate.
Yeah, that's that's the really hard part about his Diplo is that it's got a lot of evasion. It's got a lot of resilience with old Ben. Just bringing big characters like Leia, General Leia back, even when you do get a good battle through. So it can be really tough. Now we see him put down Kira right away. So he's getting into ping from the jump. Doesn't put Maul out yet. I guess you probably don't need him from the at first, but interesting all the same. And it's worth noting the version of SC we're seeing here is the Silence is Golden version, which I haven't seen played a ton. I saw like some guys like Cal Aldred play it at Worlds, and it seems to feel like a good fit for the deck. The Destiny 6.5 droids getting turned into 7.5s is that's solid. so so yeah, I'll see what happens here. I think that it'll be at least an interactive game, which will be fun.
Yeah, and it might come down to if Crypto can find his cancelers for celebration in a timely manner.
Yeah, for sure. I know that I saw 3 celebrations when I played Gavin, and so he's
That
definitely
makes it tougher.
he's gonna grab that or the canceller for sure. Um, let's think though. If he play, so there are some aliens that can give Gavin a hard time. Um, I think it's Voss that one of there's one guy who prevents reacting altogether. I think that's Voss. So if he's playing Dryden Voss, then that takes dodge out of the equation. Um, what's the Mandalorian guy? I think he
Oh,
does.
the new one that just came out?
Yeah, a couple sets ago. I think he does something to prevent reacting or evasion. There's some guys that SC definitely has access to that makes a lot of the evasion stuff moot. But the more popular versions just don't play them. They're
That'd
just
be Gar Saxon, is what Scomplink tells me.
okay. There you go. And what's his game text say?
So for him, the part for that's relevant here would be while armed or with a Mandalorian, opponent may not move away from or cancel battles here, which would hit a lot of those evasion cards.
Oh yeah. So that cancels its trap, right? Effectively.
Correct.
Um, dodge,
Narrow escape,
narrow escape, path of least
whole bunch of
resistance,
them.
which isn't something that you have to worry about Diplo, but all the same. Yeah, that's a really, really good card. And, considering we just saw a really, you know, off meta legend from Zimuit last game, I would not be surprised if we saw a lot of these lesser used Shadow Collective aliens.
Yeah, kind of the only drawback for Gar is he doesn't draw Battle Destiny on his own. So if that's, I know some of these builds they really want to have guys where everyone draws on their own. So that could be a ding against him.
Yeah, I think SC is against Diplo at least. You are probably fine to just, put Shizor somewhere, put Kira somewhere, Maul somewhere. Like, get your 3 battlegrounds that way. get your auto flip because you're at 3 battlegrounds with gangster leaders, and then that just lets you go to town with everything else you have. So I mean, depending on the build, if you can still do the leader thing and just play thin and still have some of the scrubby guys that just make life miserable at their locations.
So it looks like Gavin must have had Alderaan in his force pile since he hasn't deployed it yet, which is a little bit unfortunate for him.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Shouldn't slow things down too much.
Well, on top of that, he played Ray and had the chance to pull it. But I guess you probably don't pull it, especially in that scenario. So he'll just play it from reserve deck next turn.
Yeah, he wasn't going to have enough force to ship dock, move over, and move back. So he probably figured, what's the harm in just waiting?
Yeah, exactly. You'll pull something much more valuable than a card you can pull anyway. Okay, so he opted to drain. Zemo did, so he puts 2 damage through. Now he will get out Maul.
I like those 2 cards that he lost. One of the celebrations and a Luke, Jedi Luke. You like seeing those hit lost.
I think he has 2 Jedi Luke. I think. I'm not positive though. I can't quite remember. This is just based off of the game I played against him. Okay, so yeah, so he'll get another turn of 2 damage in before Gavin sets up. And I think I would expect next turn Maul will go to a site. He probably has another guy to throw down. So maybe that will get an additional ping if he can. Well, he won't flip because Maul's not at a battleground. But anyway, Zemo is probably pretty happy with how things are going so far. It's obviously early, but yeah.
Would you? You're going to try to flip probably if you're Gavin this turn. Would you also try to sell up Celebration, or is that seems reasonable? Yeah, to do both.
I think so. If he was able to dig for Lars and Owen and Baru Lars, that's a free deploy to the farm, and then a super cheap person somewhere else, set up Celebration, move back, transfer, all for like 5 force. So yeah, you could probably get another guy in too. So I think you're probably looking to do that. And then you'll be able to pull a card that you need, whether it's Hujix or Evasion. It kind of just depends. I think if you don't have Owen and Baru, then it's probably not worth trying to do that this turn. But there's so many guys who just deploy cheap and Diplo that you might be able to do it even without them. Them moving for free from the farm is so underrated.
Yeah, especially in a deck like this where there's so many different things you're trying to do, setting up with costs of moving people around, pulling effects like pulling Celebration. Every force you can save is pretty helpful.
Is Owen and Baru a Decipher card?
Yes, I believe Reflections too.
That's so cool. That is so good.
I hope we wouldn't let Chris Kelly print a card like that nowadays. I hope.
So, all right. So, Nara goes down. Just a star in this deck. One thing I found effective against... Oh, that's interesting. He puts down Jin, not undercover. So, yeah. He's celebrating even without Owen and Baru. Which is, you can do that. But, kryptofis has 12 cards in hand and 15 force to work with. That's a good amount.
So... EPP Forlum is a card you can play in Shadow Collective, right?
Yes.
That seems the non-virtual version seems like it could be good. with canceling some of these draws if unable to, guys, if you can actually pull off a battle.
Right. I wonder. Yeah, I think I don't know. Silence's golden decks probably want to play non V so that they can start recycling the BB9 droids.
That would make sense, yeah.
But but yeah, you definitely would be happy if you have at least one copy non V in this scenario. Because yeah, I've had yeah, Diplo is so annoying that with all their scrubs who draw if unable to otherwise, and like a guy like Vader Enforcer can just wreck. Which obviously you can't play in this deck, but you know the comparison being Forlom with concussion rifle or whatever it is, canceling game text. So Gavin's deciding what card he wants to pull from reserve deck now that he has delivered the data tapes to Alderaan. Something that never happened in the films, and if I'm being honest, is a little all too easy, considering it never happened in the films for Diplo. But that's neither here nor there.
I mean, it's thematic for R2 and D2 and C3PO to jump on the Falcon and go, just not to Alderaan, maybe to Yavin 4, I guess.
Yeah, honestly, I think it would make way more sense, and would be a more interesting counter option for dark sided counterplay if Yavin 4 was where you're trying to bring them.
But certainly, with the hyperspeed difference, it would make a lot more counterplay options with Star Destroyers being able to go back and forth.
Yeah, and I mean, while we're just deciding how we want Star Wars to be, I would redesign this objective where Tantive doesn't even start in the table at all. Just start the droids. Start the droids at the Dune Sea. Make Lightside figure out how they're gonna get the tapes into space and deliver them to Yavin 4. That's just so much more thematic.
Yeah, I would be fine with starting with Tantive in hand, but make them have to actually deploy it.
Yeah, even that would just balance it out a little bit. I mean, Diplo isn't all that abusive right now, but when it's good, it is so hard to beat.
Yeah, especially in kind of the late mid game where it's retrieving all the damage that you're trying to do to it.
Exactly.
Another Luke.
Okay, that's pretty good. So if you're kryptofis, I'd probably be getting out the retrieval code clearance shield soon. You don't want him coming back.
So 4 Force to me signals it's a trap. Is that what you would expect?
Yeah.
From Gavin?
Gavin's probably anticipating first strike. So he has a couple like an extra force to play. It's a trap or dodge.
Would love to see they're still coming through. That would make me happy.
Yeah, it's a good card to have in the meta right now, and for whatever reason, you just don't see it that much.
Yeah, it's often like a 61st, 62nd card. So no Decipher for Forlom, but as you mentioned, the virtual one to loop cards is the one we see, which makes sense.
So what's really interesting and honestly a strength of Gavin's version of this deck is he doesn't have to put a lot of cards on table like Diplo usually has to do. Okay, so there's the barrier. Annoyance number 1. But Crypto still has force to work with if he wants to throw someone else down. Okay, so he's probably going to put a... Yeah. So probably put a gun on Ponda Baba and try and shoot Jin Lost. Or, well, not Lost, but shoot her and then make her Lost with the Vazan. And then if you're feeling bold, you can probably move Avazan over to in front of Nara.
Don't like that, and I'll tell you why. Because Quite a Mercenary is still a card, and that could get bad if you don't even get a Battle Destiny with Dr. V.
You know what? That's very true. And I'm pretty sure Gavin plays uh, Protector Chewy, so it's a good chance he has that card. So good call there. Yeah. So you,
See if there's It's a Trap. No dodge. Is there a Canceller?
nope. And he doesn't grab it. Oh.
There we go. All right.
Oh, interesting. Gemp. I see. Gemp just doesn't allow you to cancel it until they try to move. That's weird.
Yeah, so I think that probably what was happening behind the scenes is Gavin initiated the react and then was picking which site to go to, and then
Oh yeah.
the react got canceled. EBT could probably help us out if that's true or not, if he's still awake. He's always awake. He's always watching.
He was in the chat earlier.
Hey, oh my goodness. So many.
Yep.
So the battle does get canceled. That's unfortunate for Crypto. He had some good answers there.
Yeah, that's true. Interesting. So he doesn't move Maul.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to have moved Maul to maybe Moss Isley or somewhere more in play than where he is now. Even to the other first light side, I feel like would have been fine, but it's just somewhere.
I think I probably wouldn't want to do that because right now he's pretty vulnerable by himself without a weapon. You know, he's drawing +3 or +2, which isn't a given, but he'll put more ability less than 4 rebels out this turn. So he'd probably be able to take on Maul pretty easily. I would probably have tried to put Maul with Kira to make him pretty impenetrable there. And now Kira's even a little vulnerable, but I don't know if he'll go after Kira. Probably not. With that said,
yeah, I mean, you can activate, retrieve your evasion cards. If you've got any of those guys you can get use pile pulls with, I must be allowed to speak. I mean, you can just get your evasion for the next turn and just kind of keep doing this over and over again.
Okay, so Crypto doesn't leave any force left, which is a little dangerous because, Ant-Man is a thing, which would make him have to pay a force before he could fire a weapon. I don't know if we'll see Luke Scout in this build, but since we saw Master Luke, or Last Jedi Luke, but that would definitely, that's a pretty normal card in Diplo builds. So yeah, I don't. Oof, man, I'm kind of nervous that Crypto drew up all the way.
So with getting General Leia, he will be able to get that use pile pull for sure. So he can retrieve either, or he can get either It's a Trap or dodge back into hand.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Depending on what he wants to do.
The speak pulls with the retrieval is just so good. Because you can just pick whatever you want that you just retrieved. So I wonder if Crypto's hurting on characters right now and he was just hoping to draw into some more offense.
That could be.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not expect any search and destroy damage in this game.
Nope, but I packed it in my deck too.
Yeah, it's a good card to have just in case you run into an all space deck.
Do you know if Um, do you know if Paul and Paul Myers and Greg Shaw scheduled their makeup game yet?
My understanding is it finished with Greg Shaw advancing.
Oh, okay. Did they play the game, or did Paul just kind of concede it?
So I'm actually in the playoff thread right now, and it looks like he won the game in the match by concession while at 9 hand in life versus Paul's 6 hand in life. So, I mean, it was up 20 differential, and he was ahead slightly on hand in life in game two, but he wasn't gonna be able to make up 20,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he conceded. Unfortunate. I know that caused a lot of discussion about how that went down, but disappointing uh, result there.
yeah. I mean, no one wants to see, even if it's right decision, even if it's the right decision, no one wants to see someone go out like that. But that's just the way sometimes it has to go. Like the committee had its hands tied, and I know that they tried to find a solution that at least made it so that there was potentially some, instead of just like an outright DQ, like allowing a game to be played. So yeah, definitely unfortunate.
I agree. I mean, I think they would have been justified if they had decided to go for a full DQ, but I'm glad they didn't go that route. They did allow the game to be played, but hopefully, I know there was chatter about Paul maybe not participating in more events. I hope that's not true. I hope he continues to play and be an active member of the community.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the truth of it is, especially if you're as good and competitive as Paul is, it's just, you know, to give up on a game that we all just love to play. It would just be a bummer. So hopefully he rebounds and has a good showing next time, and is right back in it.
Yeah, agree. So he does deploy Leia immediately. So got either of those two cards he pulled, or could have gotten leadership back, or something else. So probably a whole bunch of good options in there for Gavin with that used pull.
Yep, it is interesting that Leia didn't go to his site, so definitely not planning on attacking. I would most certainly assume. Because right now he's got the Cantina Shuffle uh, in a prime position to set up. So
Yep, another used pull here.
oh yeah, yep. I think
So here's the unfortunate part: is he's going to be able to It's a Trap. So there's really not much of anything Crypto can do to stop the shuffle next turn from happening.
yeah, yeah. Um, we'll see what Crypto drew into. Oh, you know what's funny? Crypto actually was. I mean, Gavin actually wasn't flipped at the start of this turn. Oh wait, no, he was. I'm sorry, he was. He was. I was mistaken. Anyway, what I was gonna say was, maybe Crypto drew into a first strike or um, something else. I wonder. I mean, it'll be
I,
interesting.
I don't think I don't think Gavin is flipped because he's not had a rebel controlling the system,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I was gonna say, but then I talked myself out of it. Yeah, because Ray's the only pilot up there, so he's not flipped yet. So, which is why he didn't drain at Tatooine. Um, so maybe Nara goes up into space or something so that he can flip.
Yeah, or even Jin. I mean, either one of those would be fine. I mean, ideally you'd have a pilot, but it doesn't have to be.
Right. It's just Rebels control. Yeah. Oh,
Chewie,
sure.
that's a surprising one, but Okay.
Ooh, yeah, I don't like that at all. Unless Ray's coming back down. Yeah, I would think you'd want Chewie to handle some of the Dengars of the world. Huh. That's.
I don't know. Maybe he's got the female interrupt as well, but to be honest, he probably doesn't even need it because there's a good chance he's got both dodge and it's a trap again in hand. So he could
Well, the
probably
female
just
interrupt
continue to
doesn't
do
help him
those.
because Maul cancels light side's canceling of destinies. So,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
but yeah, that's a good point. It's still a good card for him to have that he probably has. Okay, so he doesn't have enough force for it's a trap, so that's not gonna happen. Um,
Doesn't have enough force for barrier either, so that's another one you don't have to worry about.
can't he can't dodge away from the Moss if he goes after Moss Isley. He can dodge away if he goes after Nara, but I doubt he does. Huh. Well, we'll see what kryptofis has. He certainly has enough force to make a pretty good battle out of this. I would probably expect we'd see a leadership or something. It's probably safe to assume.
Does feel like kind of a key turn before Diplo starts turning up the pressure in terms of making it insurmountable with everything they start to do.
Yeah. I don't think you can. I don't think there's a question of where the action's going to be this turn. If he's going to battle, anyway. Maybe he's content to spread a little
I think
bit.
you've got to wipe some of these pieces off the board. He must not have what he needs in hand.
Right.
We see him go to his move phase.
Wow. Wow. Not it doesn't
That's gonna
deploy.
eat up a lot of force. He's gonna lose at least 3 to drains, maybe 4 to drains, and then he'll retrieve 3.
Well, explain. Oh, right, because he's gonna go over to Cantina. Yeah. Whew, man. I'm much less like one turn of 4 drains. SU can eat that. The bigger implication here is that giving Diplo this much time to set up what they want to do, that's where the real danger lies for kryptofis.
Yeah, and he's gonna retrieve both of those loot copies. So if he's got, he does have Lando. He pulled Lando, so Lando will get a used pull. He'll be able to get one of the Lukes with the pull of Lando. So yeah, just kind of seems like it's going from bad to worse unless Crypto has something up his sleeve.
Man, yeah. So Crypto's gonna let him. Yeah, well, not let him. He doesn't have a choice. He's gonna have to watch him go to the cantina, and then he has to decide if he wants to challenge the cantina. I bet Luke goes to the cantina probably, which is gonna make it really hard to challenge that. Yeah, this is a rough one. Wow.
So drawing up to a pretty big hand, 18 Only 19 handed life. Um, that in of itself is going to make it hard to do stuff because you just won't have that much in life force.
Yeah. Gavin plays. I'm pretty sure Gavin plays Monarch or Grimtosh. Wait, which one's the light side one? I never remember.
Light side one is Grimtosh.
Yeah. Which I mean, probably it would definitely be annoying. Yeah, it would probably be game breaking potentially. So he's got retrieve 3. Holy cow! This is the danger of letting Diplo set up. It just gets really hard to get damage through, or at least damage to stick around.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Bale show up here fairly soon to boost that drain.
Yep. So yeah, it's interesting. In our matchup, I had a similar turn one. I put Ninth Sister at my Malachor site with a saber to threaten like the drain 3 right off the bat. But afterwards, I was realizing, Ninth Sister is a lot better at going after their scrubs, and she was the only character I had in hand. I needed to put on early pressure, which is why I did it. But I do wonder if Zima would have been better off getting Maul out just early and then having Kira as a offensive option. But that's just second guessing and hindsight.
Yeah, it's possible that he activated Maul first turn. Hard to say, right? We don't know what he saw.
For sure. Okay, so Gavin's probably feeling pretty good right now. He's got
I think the biggest issue is that Shadow Collective needs to battle, and Gavin's deck is designed to avoid battles.
Exactly.
And it seems like Crypto just doesn't have the tools to deal with that.
Right. I saw that he lost Kira to one of these drains, so it means he has 2 Kiras. So I wonder if he was betting heavily on Y4 ops or something. As you called it, here comes Bale.
We'll see if he opts to use the Lando pull this turn or if he waits. Well, really, you're probably feeling pretty good. Like you can just kind of hold serve with what you're doing, but you might want to up the pressure even more.
Yeah.
So would expect Luke to come down as well this turn.
Yeah. Solidify the cantina. And then maybe I don't know. What do you do with Lando then? Because you don't. Maybe he doesn't come down.
You could shuttle him up. That would be fine. You could move him in front of Nara. That is some risk associated with it, but you're probably okay with the high forfeit that he has.
Maybe you put Luke with Lando.
Yeah, that's an option too. Yeah, I think Gavin's got lots of routes he can take. He's not really. He could play a little bit loose and be fine, I think, with the way things are going. So right now, even though Crypto's threatening 4 damage, I mean, Gavin's retrieving 3. So we'll be retrieving 4 if he's... Yeah, probably looks like he'll be retrieving 4 if he shuffles again. So that's all your damage gone, plus you're paying to drain. It's not good. especially when you've only got, again, 19 cards in your life force.
Well, we know this. Zemowit's putting down good cards with Forlom. So
Hmm.
he has Destinies set up. Um, if he can disrupt the Cantina Shuffle, that will be big. Because it just reduces what he can the things that he can do. And that would put him at 3 battlegrounds and two of the biggest battlegrounds. So yeah, he definitely needs to figure out how he's going to stop that. That's the key.
Yeah, because that would shut off 2 damage plus 1 to 2 retrieval. That would help the math. I'm not sure if it would save him, but it would help him out quite a bit.
Wonder if he has Ellis Hellrot in this.
Yeah, I thought about that too when he stacked. To be honest, though, even if you Ellis over, I mean, I don't know what that's gonna do. I don't know that you're gonna be able to answer the evasion options that he's probably got in hand.
Well, what evasion options does he have left?
Well, I think there's a good chance that he has dodge for on a lone character. I wouldn't be surprised if he has something else now as well.
Well, dodge you don't care about the Cantina. I mean, you care about it reducing weapon destiny, but if you Ellis into that, you're going to be drawing a ton of weapon destinies. So
yeah, that's fair.
If he can piece together something like Dengar and a Shizor with a weapon. I don't know if he has sniper or not. That could be big. But in any event, if he can get a good battle at the Cantina, I don't see how. Old Ben would be annoying. That would be bad. But if he has, what's his name? What's the SC alien that prevents characters from coming off of Lost Pile?
Oh, wait. Is that Danik Jericho? Is that what his name
Yeah,
is?
that's it. If he has Danik Jericho, then that shuts off Old Ben. And actually, that would be a really good card to have because he's going to add a Battle Destiny, which would force Gavin's hand a little bit with leadership.
We'll see. I just haven't seen any of those kind of scrub assassins yet.
No, I haven't
in
either.
This deck.
I haven't either. But Kryptofis
I
has
just don't
so
know
many
how
cards.
you can fit those plus the droids in.
Kryptofist has to have at least a couple good characters or a force push, something to set up a good battle. It's not looking good, but Kryptofist is definitely not out of it yet.
Yeah, I think one other nice thing is with Dr. E, if he did have an Ellis or something to move Dr. E in, I mean, you can get rid of guys pretty quick, obviously, by operating.
For sure. Oh, wow. So that's just an odd decision by Gavin to just ray into his last force. I mean, you're really gambling on no first strike here. Why would he do that?
Yeah, it's a choice you can make. I'll just say that. I guess if he activated all but 2 force, maybe you're not too concerned. But man, even somebody like Commander Nara sitting there all by himself, that's a big risk.
Yeah, wow. Interesting. Okay, so oh, that's why.
Probably less of a risk now.
I wonder if that last card in his force pile was that, and that's what he was going for. Oh man. God, just table flipping stuff right now. So what does
So
he have
as
left?
Crypto contemplates how to recover from that, what's your take on Grimtosh and Monarch? Are they fair cards, or are they cards that need some action against them?
Um, it's it's gonna sound like I'm riding the fence a bit. I think that they're important. I think it's good to have a way to prevent people from just drawing big hands and all that. But in like this case, when crypto has no recourse than to draw a big hand and hope he can find some answers, it's really, really rough. So that's the problem with it, is that there are times when you can't avoid drawing a big hand, and then what it does, it just makes you lose. It just prevents you from getting back into the game. And then there are other times where it's an important, like, what's the word? Just like guard against, you know, big, abusive play styles. So I don't know. I think that it would be nice if there was some sort of middle ground that we could find. I don't know if it's through a shield or what, but it is definitely controversial enough to warrant the discussion. How about you? Where do you lie?
Yeah, so for me, I think I tend to go more on the side of incorporate that into your deck building. So, like for a dark side deck, having the card that cancels "Keep Your Eyes Open" that now is escaping me.
Oh, Point Man.
Yeah, Point Man, right? To where you can put some of those tools into your deck to solve some of those problems. Most of my light side decks all have a control and tunnel vision. Um, oh, I think Nora gets around Shizor, right?
Yeah, it's an unable to otherwise
Oh,
situation.
here we go. All right,
Okay, so that's good.
first strike.
Kryptofis is thanking his lucky stars that he didn't lose that card.
See if we can get one more. Now, worth noting, he will get +4 to his battle destiny, so it won't be. There's limited opportunity for a beatdown.
Oh,
I
and he
would say.
doesn't have a gun to put on them, so although the gun doesn't really matter, it just would have been a nice to have sort of thing. Okay, so now this is pretty good. He'll probably lose Shizor. Wait, no, of course not. They both draw if unable to otherwise, so he'll lose Cad. Although he might not have a choice.
I mean, he might end up losing both.
Yeah, right. Maul helps. He'll be drawing at +4 or +5 actually. So yeah.
Oh, plus into attrition.
Yeah. So he'll lose both.
Okay.
But he will cause some overflow.
Yeah, but probably not the kind of battle you're really hoping for in this spot.
But it's something. It's 3 cards. It's, well, yeah, 2 cards he wasn't planning on losing. That he'll retrieve now, but still. I mean, I can't imagine he'll move in front of the Mos Eisley stack there. That's...
Yeah, I would be pretty surprised if he did. Maybe if he had a run Luke run and some weapons protection or something like that.
Oh,
But,
yeah. Yeah.
I think the way the game's going, there's no real reason for you to. You can continue to do your damage. Continue to do your retrieval, and
Yeah, so he'll retrieve
there's
2.
not that many bullets
5
left for
damage.
Crypto to do stuff with.
Right. He'll do 5 damage here, which is perfectly fine. Oh, interesting.
See if he moves everyone.
Huh. Maybe he has force push. Although I can't imagine it's worth... Well, I don't know.
With the first strike differential, unless you're moving everyone, I think this is a bad play.
He might be doing this just to get an extra ping in with once his objective flips. So I mean, from a life force standpoint, at this very moment, well, after the ping goes through, Zemo will be up 26 to 17. So, you know, those are pretty good numbers. It kind of, I don't know.
But it kind of feels like a fake number if there's retrieval coming imminently.
For sure. But that is enough of a margin where he might be able to get it above 14.
Sure, and I think we saw kind of in the last game how Crypto got a little bit rattled, and maybe that last battle was a little bit of a confidence boost to where something good happened. Maybe he can kind of ride it into something else happening good on his next turn.
What I don't like here, man, I don't know what I think about this.
I think you have to move everyone, I think. I don't think you can afford to move just one or two guys.
I agree. Doesn't look like it's gonna.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of bad things that can happen with just Dr. E by himself. But, I mean, he's down 14. He probably figures he's got to take some risks, so...
yeah, he'll probably...
That is fine.
Yeah, man.
So, I mean, you're going to shuffle over, retrieve, then move the other person over, battle into Dr. E, retrieve 2, Crypto will lose 1. You should be able to draw high enough to clear Dr. E plus the blaster. Seems like not a good outcome. Like you end up causing, a difference of 3 more differential by leaving Dr. E there.
Right. Wouldn't it just be better to eat the 2 damage? Yeah, I don't know what he's got up his sleeve. Maybe. Oof, man. Maybe he really just didn't want to eat 5 force loss. But you're still going to lose 4 total once he battles into you. And the net difference once he retrieves another one is the same. So, goes a Shizu.
I think he took Solo into hand at some point, didn't he?
Ooh, did he? I missed that.
So I thought he did with Wereshan earlier in the game. If he did, he's got quite a mercenary sitting right on top of his lost pile right now. That would be now might be a good time to use that on Dr. E.
Right. Maybe he has another Dr. E that he could in a Gik combo in hand. I don't know. Maybe that would make this an okay play. But yeah. I guess potential concerns are, well, I don't know.
Okay, we see Solo. He goes to the best site for Solo, where he'll be able to drain for 3.
Right. Interesting. I mean, Gavin's making some funny choices too. You don't need to, that's not, I don't know. Is that really what you need to do to win the game? Probably not. It just gives kind of an opportunity for him to battle into you and retrieve and cause a force loss. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I probably would have preferred to have played it safer as well. But we'll see. So he retrieved with Leia, so he did not get an opportunity to play quite a mercenary with solo, which feels like an error to me.
Right, because he could have played solo first and then battled. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Okay, so he has a chance to clear Leia. Maybe he probably has an old Ben or something, so he might not care. But it's still kind of.
So, I mean, you probably target Jin here, hit Jin, operate, assuming that he doesn't. Oh, goes after Leia. That's unfortunate.
Maybe he just wants to get rid of the dodge. So yeah, man.
So 4 becomes a 7.
Yeah, he's gonna retrieve off this battle.
6.
Oh man. Oh wow.
Presumably, he'll lose Jin. Oh nope, he will not.
Hey, we found our first droid.
He will be losing General Leia.
Oh wow, so he actually doesn't even lose this battle. Okay, so I guess that was one thing I didn't consider. He knew there was going to be a droid there because he put it there with Forlom. So he felt reasonably good that if he battled, you know, he'd force him to lose something he didn't want to lose. But I imagine we'll see old Ben here, so we'll see. Nope, no old Ben. Or I don't know. Does old Ben happen after battle? I'm not quite sure.
What would you do if you're Gavin with kind of your characters you got here? Would you consolidate it Mos Eisley? What's the best way to go here?
Well, Jin can't move again, so yeah, he's consolidating. That's the right move. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think the thing that is going in Zimuat's favor right now is he's not going to go back into the cantina now, so he's limited his damage to 4. Well, if he can take care of solo, that is. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who he has left in hand. If he has a no escape or maybe another Avazin combo, that could be interesting. So 22 to Gavin's 22 to Zimuat's 24. Both have 6 cards in hand. And now Gavin will lose 2. Okay, there goes Obi-Wan and a dodge, which he can play from Lost with solo.
Yeah, that's going to be a little disheartening if you're crypto, unless you've got a way to cancel that dodge. Because, yeah, you can retrieve and cause some force loss by battling the solo, but it's just going to drain you for 2 the next turn anyway.
And solo will get retrieved one way or the other.
Oh, I guess the other first light sight is force drain -1. So I would only be able to drain 1 there if he reacted away, but still not ideal.
Oh right, yeah, the Twix. Right. I see what you're saying. We definitely have a good game going. I'm really curious if Gavin plays 2 Leias. I would guess not. Because you're pulling Yeah, I would guess.
Probably not. I know he's got a few leaderships he's running, and he's got quite a few resistance characters. So maybe, but probably not. Yeah.
So Leia's probably gone for good. I mean, famous last words with Diplo, but it would be pretty impressive if he could retrieve into her now. Although he still has Walkling, so that's possible. I think he needs to drain at the cantina.
Yeah, I would agree. You're probably not going to be able to cause damage, much in the way of damage in a battle in this turn. So you have to get damage where you can.
Right. I don't know where Hujix is right now. I know it got retrieved at one point. I don't know if there was an opportunity to get it into hand with Imbats. I mean, yeah, Imbats. Okay, so he's making him pay for Solo's text. So now if Solo wants to play something from Lost during battle, he'll have to pay 2. Which he can do.
Yeah, interesting timing on that. I'm not sure if I would have played it until I felt like I could take advantage of it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if he can get a battle in the Solo and hit and keep someone around, then he'll ping on the flip. So he would do 2 more ping damage, which is not nothing. If he forces Solo to use his text, then that is probably a net positive, because then he can't do another annoying thing, and then he's stuck at the Twix, which isn't great, but it's not as bad as where he is now.
Yeah, and if it's dodge, for example, that goes out of play. So at least for that copy, you don't have to worry about that continuing to be recurred.
Precisely, right. Although then he might even then he's actually able to retrieve Leia.
Something else, yeah. But you should cause the force loss here with first strike. So,
Wow.
Hopefully he's got another nice character here. If he does, he should be able to knock out Solo.
Yeah, I mean that's actually probably fine if he has another character. If he doesn't, that's really bad. But either way, at least you got rid of the second barrier. What? Interesting. What is happening?
Okay.
So if he kills,
Okay.
so now he can kill one of Rey or Jin. Probably Jin is who we'll go after.
I think I would just rather have put Dr. E and Blaster at Solo's site.
Right.
Unless there's another card coming.
Yeah, if there's another card coming, this could be pretty good. Nope.
Huh.
Is he not going to battle? Because that would be nutso. Yeah, man. Jeez.
Who's best to target here?
Probably, I would say Jen, because it's one less rebel on the table.
Makes sense.
But what do I know? If you...
Okay. Ooh, thank goodness.
Jeez. This is such a tense viewing experience. Okay. Yeah, I guess Ray's, I mean, just as good a target if you can make sure you hit her, because, now she can't draw stuff and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I mean, either +1 with Ray or +1 with a Rebel. Either way, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And now it makes it, now he definitely can't go into the cantina. At least not just with Jen.
There we go.
So he'll lose the droid and
That's just the droid, I think, right?
Falcon should be gone.
Or just the Falcon. Either way.
Well, it's 7.5, right?
Oh, that's right. He added one. So.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay, not interesting enough, but that is interesting.
Yeah, if he could have drawn a 1 there instead of a 2, then that would have been really nice.
Okay, so that's fascinating. So he's gonna retrieve the Falcon and the droids, which is kind of like meh. So that's okay.
Yeah, I think you're fine with that over some of the other problematic stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So Solo's gonna attack what's her face. But maybe you're fine with that because it would have been a drain of 2 anyway.
But that will allow him to retrieve Ray, I believe, when he initiates that battle.
But it gets rid of Solo, which is probably fine. But if he has backup for Solo, then that's shitty. Oh, sorry, language.
Well, I didn't hear anything. We got 15 viewers. That's nice to see. I know it's late on the West Coast, so I can only imagine for our other viewers spread throughout.
Yeah, I'm actually quite pleased with that. And I'm really glad that the technology side of things improves. That was a mess in the first game. Wow. Okay, so I mean we have a game here. We'll get Zemowit's looking at 5 damage this turn. So he loses a BB droid for to eat up that drain of 2. So he's losing 1 card versus 2, which is good. And he can retrieve that next turn with Kira. She sticks around. But still, I mean, 14 is looking hard to come by right now.
Yeah, I mean, another potential path to victory would be if Gavin times out, because Gavin is getting lower on time.
Oh, wow.
Which would be hand plus life, which currently would be 23, which would be more than the 14. Hopefully it doesn't come to a timed win, but that's a possibility.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So what do you think about putting Kraken down there?
If he has a BB droid tracked. Oh,
another Ray.
Yeah, so now this is a good battle for him. But otherwise, I would have said it probably doesn't make much of a difference because if he has a BB droid tracked, then he'll just clear both of them anyway.
I'll be curious who he loses for attrition. See if he remembers that Kraken triggers force loss from Zand.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, I mean, he's drawing 2 Destiny. Oh, he only has 1 Destiny saved, so that doesn't matter. So he'll get +5 to total battle Destiny, which is a lot. So kryptofis is gonna probably hope to have a Gick here. I don't think he's gonna avoid overflow.
Oh, yeah, no. If only these bounty hunters were +2, that would be so much better.
Keep beating that drum. He lost the BB droid off the top of his reserve deck, which is probably not what he wanted to do. But maybe he didn't know it was there. I don't know. Yeah, not what he wanted to do. So
Yeah, I don't know if that first strike has been a net positive or negative so far. Seems like it's cut both ways.
right. Yeah, well, this is the problem I had in my last game is I just couldn't get a good battle in, even with first strike retrieving. It
I gotta
just
believe that he had the pieces he needed for one before that Grimtosh hit.
yeah, I think that's probably a fair bet. Yeah, I mean Gavin has just been playing the game he wants to play in both games just really well. Okay, so he didn't have a Gick, which means he has to lose another droid to soak
Yeah.
up damage, and another droid. So he doesn't. He loses 2 cards out of the ordeal, which he can retrieve, but probably not what he wants to do. Um, yeah, this is looking like it's nearing a finish line here.
And the first light side is still a drain of 3, so that's a concern.
Yeah. That's why it might have been a little nicer to see a Vazen go down there instead.
And he opted to forfeit Ray, which makes me wonder if he was thinking about that extra force loss ping.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. He must have been aware there.
That does catch some players off guard, but at this level you would expect everyone to be pretty aware of all the cards.
So yeah, I mean, I would probably just expect to concede pretty soon. I mean, Zimowit's down. I mean, he's down by 5 as is, or more, 6, and unless unless he can find a way to get a huge beatdown in, or maybe 2. Well, we know he has aura in hand.
Right?
Um, but aura
Yeah, I think. Oh, there is your card, Damage Jericho.
can't his game text be canceled by Chewy? Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just felt like felt like Zimowit just couldn't get the characters where they wanted to be at the right time.
Yeah, I think that's the power of the use pile pulls. Gavin was always able to have the answer that he needed,
Exactly. Yep.
and then retrieve that answer and then pull it again.
I'm pretty confident that when we saw him play Grimtosh, I'm pretty confident that must have been the last card in his force pile. That's the
It would be
only.
interesting to hear from him about that turn.
Yeah. It was probably a risk he had to take, but it was a gamble because if he didn't lose a key piece.
Yeah, and we see the GGs there.
There it
So
is. Yep.
congrats to Gavin. Well played both games. I would
Extremely
say.
well played. Yeah, that was really impressive showing right there.
So it looks like Gavin will take on the winner of Justin Desai and Greg Shaw, which is quite the Titan matchup of its own there.
Yep. Yeah, that'll be a fun one. No doubt there. Yeah, I mean, we just saw some really solid play from someone who knew their deck very well and knew, it seemed like Gavin just had a good sense of what he might have coming down the pipe in order to plan ahead a little bit. And Yeah, that was just a really good showing by Gavin. So great games. Zimowit played really well too. If it wasn't for just like a completely unpredictable flip of the script in game one, uh, this is obviously a lot different. But really enjoyable match to watch. So congrats to both players, and thanks for good games for us to watch.
Yep. Good luck to Gavin in the next round. Thanks for inviting me on to commentate with you. It was a good experience.
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you for jumping on such short notice. I really enjoyed getting a chance to do this with you, and hopefully we'll have another opportunity down the line.
Sounds good. Have a good night or morning, Star Wars players.
Yep. Night.